Hi, I'm 2504 Kelly, and today I'm going to talk about US-China power struggle. First, I'm going to talk about introduction about relationship between US and China. Second, rise of China and US-China trade war. And third, other disputes between US and China. And lastly, I'm going to talk about the future of US-China relationships and my opinion. First is introduction. The concept encompasses the political, economic, military, diplomatic, social, cultural, and technological competition between the US, a superpower that exerts enormous influence internationally, and China, which is increasing its power in the surrounding world based on rapid economic growth. However, scholars say that the US still has the upper hand in almost every aspect besides the economy, and that it is difficult for China to overtake the US, at least in the midterm, due to the geopolitical disadvantages, responsibility for COVID-19, China's human rights issues, hard power, and soft power. Next is rise of China and US-China trade war. About rise of China, since 2001, China's economic power has improved tremendously. In 2010, China became the world's second largest economy beyond Japan's GDP. Compared to the total GDP of the US and China was 13 times different in the 2000s and 7 to 9 times different in the 2008 Beijing Olympics. However, since then, as the Chinese economy has exploded and the US economy has stagnated, the gap between the two countries has narrowed to 1.4 times as of 2020. As of 2021, the majority of the world's major economic institutions predict that China's GDP will overtake the US GDP within the next 20 years. And next is US-China trade war. The China-United States trade war is an ongoing economic conflict between the People's Republic of China and the United States of America. In January 2018, US President Donald Trump began setting tariffs and other trade barriers on China with the goal of forcing it to make changes to what the US says are unfair trade practices and intellectual property theft. The Trump administration stated that these practices may contribute to the US-China trade deficit and that the Chinese government requires transfer of American technology to China. In response to US trade measures, the Chinese government accused the Trump administration of engaging in nationalist protectionism and took retaliatory action. After the trade war escalated through 2019, in January 2020, the two sides reached a tense phase of one agreement. It expired in December 2021, with China falling by a wide margin to purchase American goods and services as agreed. By the end of the Trump presidency, the trade war was widely characterized as a failure. Next is about other disputes between US and China. First is China's repression of human rights. 43 countries around the world, led by the United States and other Western countries, criticized the Chinese government's crackdown on human rights in Xinjiang at the United Nations. Second is the Taiwan Strait. The Taiwan Strait is at the forefront of the US-China hegemony race. Taiwan is a useful strategic asset for the United States, but for China, it is the subject of national unity. In the Taiwan Strait, factors of war and peace coexist. Biden refers to Taiwan as his most trusted partner and embraces it as a member of the Value Alliance. In particular, Taiwan is a very important country for the United States because it is a semiconductor producer. Third is conflict between East China Sea and the South China Sea. The US and China are in big conflict over the sovereignty of the South China Sea and it is China Sea, South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, and China, which are led by the US, are in big conflict. Lastly, I'm going to talk about the future of US-China relations and my opinion. There are two main views on the confrontation between the US and China. One is that China will someday surpass the US and emerge as a new hegemon, and the other is that the US will maintain its global hegemony and it will be difficult to secure the capability to surpass the US due to the limitations of China's current system. When all the factors described above, including hard power and soft power, are comprehensively reviewed, it is very difficult in reality for China to beat the United States and live into a new hegemon. Even if the US continues to dominate the US-China hegemony competition, this does not mean that China will fail. What the US ultimately demands from China is that China compromises on the US-led international order, rights on the side, and follows the international order. So in conclusion, the prospect of the United States continuing to dominate our history may always be unaccepted, so let's wait and see. Lastly, my opinion. Both the US and China are powerful countries, so how the two countries behave has a great impact on other countries. So I hope the two countries will stay peaceful without fighting. In particular, I wonder how the US-China relationship, which was not good during the Trump era, but will change after the new Biden administration takes office. In addition, it was amazing that China achieved tremendous economic growth in a short period of time, and I thought it was impressive that the United States maintained its position as a world hegemon long before China challenged the position of a new hegemon. On the other hand, I wondered what it would be like if other country, not China or the United States, threatened the position of a hegemonic country. More than that, I hope everyone will have a peaceful day without fighting anymore. Thank you for listening to my presentation.